Hey, we are live. It's Tamiya Tuesday. Tamiya Tuesday, we are live. How's everybody doing? And tonight we're going to talk about the BB-02, the Tamiya Dune Beetle Cross. That is a mouthful of a name. Like, why do they come up with such a Tamiya Dune Beetle Cross? That's kind of weird. We have Tony Fallon with us tonight. He's from Tamiya, USA, and you might have known him from the 12 Days of Christmas. What's your webpage called again?
Competition X?
Competition X. You have a lot of manuals there also at Competition X of all kind of not just Tamiya, but a lot of other manufacturers, which is kind of cool. And I actually go there sometime to get some manual. Well done on getting a collection of stuff like that. That's helpful.
Tank, excuse me, is that called Doom like Doom or Dune like a sand dune?
Like a
Sand
sand
dune.
dune.
Sand dune. Okay.
It's a dune beetle.
Yeah.
So I thought it was very odd that they made it 1/9 scale, and I know that the body's 1 millimeter thick, so it's pretty thick body. The new body is,
Yeah.
so it'll be more durable. I also heard that the Stinger exhaust is made out of nylon, so it should take a more of a beating and not break so easily.
Yes. The whole there's kind of multiple parts of the exhaust, but the actual stinger part and then the kind of the I guess the rest of the tubing, exhaust of the tubing is all nylon, and then it attaches to the roll cage with screws. So if anything's going to break, which it shouldn't, but if it does, it's probably going to break the tabs that attach it to the chassis before it breaks the stinger.
And maybe that'll lead to them actually using more nylon in their constructions. But nylon's a little more expensive.
It is the only I that was kind of well, this project, are we just going to jump right in? Can we just
Yeah.
jump right
Sure.
in?
Go
Okay,
for it.
so this project came about 2.5 years ago, right after the BBX. They wanted to come up with a second version of the BBX, and initially they just were going to throw a bug body on that chassis and call it a day. But we basically they came. Tamiya Japan usually does everything on that end, and then we just kind of get what they send us, basically. This time around, though, we'd had a lot of input on this vehicle, and they let us just run with it. And they said, since you guys, the off-road bug world is bigger here than it is there, um, tell us what you want. Let's make it kind of a USA styled buggy. So we basically had a lot of input on um, what went into this. And oddly enough, it does say 1/9 scale because it is slightly larger than 1/10 scale, but it is actually about the same size as the BBX. The BBX realistically is 1/9 scale. If you put it up to any 1/10 scale buggies, it's bigger. But we thought at the point where we would put 1/10 scale, or we put 1/9 scale, people wouldn't really latch onto that. So we called it 1/10 scale, but it is actually 1/9 scale, like this chassis here. Um, so yeah, so we had a lot of input on what we wanted in this. We asked for new driver figures. We asked for uh, the fire extinguisher. We asked for the bug body. Had a lot of input on the lighting system, what parts should carry over, the engine. Then we actually got to name the drivers. So yeah, and then they went ahead and gave us the opportunity to do the whole video for the car, which is the first time in Tamiya's history that they've done that.
Nice.
Make a 1/9 scale. But some people
Yeah,
say that the Bruiser was not 1/9 scale,
I think the
even though it
Bruiser
was
was 1/9
1/10.
scale as well. Yeah,
But it said on the box 1/10. This one actually says 1/9 on it. This box.
yeah. I
So
think they just
I,
they just assumed that people were going to find out and they were going to say, well, this isn't really 1/10 because to me it kind of, I'm sure you've heard this before, but to me it kind of does their own thing. Um, so they're not in it to like make a world class racing buggy. They're in it to make something that's awesome to drive. And if have you driven the BBX already? I'm sure you have.
I haven't. I wish I had the BBX. I liked it, but a lot of people are more hyped about this vehicle more than the BBX when it came out.
I
Yeah,
am
well,
too.
the BBX was stellar. Like it blew me away. I figured the way the suspension was, this was not going to be a great performing vehicle, but it would be fun to drive. And I put a kind of a hot motor in mine and went out to a field and just started bashing through all the off-road stuff. And it was really a great handling vehicle, which surprised me because of the design and suspension. This kind of gave us the same thing. We went out not expecting like we were going to have a BBX style vehicle because it is a much higher center of gravity. Um, the front suspension is a little different on one version of the car, and but actually both of them handled fantastic, which is great news because it is a super fun car to drive and it looks rad.
I know in the when you guys showed it on your video, which I thought was interesting. I hope you guys do more videos for Tamiya on the American side, because I
Yeah, I
think a
hope we
lot
do
of
too.
people were shocked about that. People were shocked it came from you guys.
Right.
Uh,
Well,
I
I did
know that.
not know. I did not know it came from the minds of the U.S. people.
Yeah, that
Where
was
did you hear
all.
about that, Brad?
I knew when they started talking about it, and there was an American guy and a girl doing it, and I knew it had to come straight from the headquarters in California.
Hmm.
And she said he worked for them. So, do you know the guy who did the video?
No, no, I don't.
No,
Do you,
Tony. Do you know
Tony?
the guy?
Oh, you mean Fred?
Yeah.
Yeah, I work with him. So Fred basically did in front. Courtney has been working with Tamiya for many, many years. She was our, I guess, our trophy girl at the TCS events. She's done a bunch of other releases with us as well. I did all the filming and all the editing, and then we had one other guy at the at the office that helped drive um, one of the one of the bugs together. When two bugs were driving together, most of that was Fred and one of the other guys in the office driving them together. So we did we had four people and we did everything.
Cool.
Well, you guys should continue that thing because I think people appreciated it. Uh,
Yeah, I was surprised they let us do it.
hopefully they'll let you do it again. Actually, hopefully they'll let you do it indefinitely, because they got to have they well, they actually asked you to help build the vehicle in a matter of speaking, so they're obviously giving you guys more leeway and giving them ideas because they know what the Americans want more when they talk to you.
Sure.
And
Well,
therefore,
maybe
that means the man who runs the company now wants more input from other people, it sounds like.
that's what I was
I
about to say. Brad, can I put a word in, and can you let Tony put a word in also?
It's a long
Uh,
show, Brad. Calm down.
yeah. Uh, I think the new blood of the new president of Tamiya, because the old man passed the torch to his grandson, I believe it was. And I think that is helping Tamiya in the sense, and that he's letting kind of America, Tamiya USA, to come up with a new thing. Hopefully, it does evolve to even more things and more evolution. That's kind of cool.
Yeah. Um, it was when the VP was here and we were talking about the vehicle, Fred said, you know, it'd be great if we did the video here. And he said that before, but it's never really kind of been followed through. So about 2 weeks after the VP went back home, um, we got a email from one of the designers over there saying, "Hey, we're going to build these cars. How do you want them?" And Fred was like, "What are you talking about? I don't understand what you're talking about." He goes, "Well, we're building the cars here so that we're going to send to you, and you guys are going to do the video." And Fred came running over to me and goes, "What?" So we got talking about, you know, basically the rest of the day we sat around daydreaming about how we were going to do this video, and it was a lot of pressure because that's Tamiya Inc. They're the head office, and they're giving us the chance to kind of run with this however we wanted to. They absolutely had zero input on um, what they wanted to see. We had to send Sam. We had to send rough cuts of the video over, so we made sure that it followed along with what they were was okay to say and not to say, or whatever the case may be. But yeah, but they gave us full reign on this, and it was fun. It was a good time.
I, I believe they have more English speakers working at that company to deal with you guys the way You did. So, but I, I like that you can change the front end. I know that if I ever get that kit, it's going to be the actual Beetle front end that they used in the real car. But the
Now, the BBX did not have that option
no,
of doing the both front ends,
no,
Right.
right?
nope. Yeah,
They
but
had
you
a
can't.
different option for a front for an upper. I don't really remember what it was, but there was a different upper link setup.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, but this car actually has two, and that was one thing we requested because they asked us which front end do you want to put in. We said put both. Like, why would you not put both? The
Yeah.
front end is basically the same as the BBX, so there's no extra tooling. It's just extra tooling for the trailing arm suspension. So, we asked if we could have both. They said sure.
So is that just the wheel drive?
Yeah,
Not
Yes.
rear
four-wheel
wheel
drive?
drive. It's only a
Yeah.
two-wheel drive. It's
So
in the
it's
rear.
just like a regular Beetle then.
It's a
Sure.
buggy. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
just like a real
Uh,
buggy.
The trailing arm is very reminiscent. Also, front end is very reminiscent of the SRB chassis,
Yeah. Very
which
much
is
so. Yeah.
nice. People like that, and I bet most people are going to be doing the trailing arm because that's the most realistic to the car itself.
And it changes the way the car handles.
Handle.
We had
Oh,
two
yes.
separate Beetles, one with the trailing arm, one with the double A arm suspension, and it was weird driving them because you kind of expected them to handle the same, but they handle quite differently, which was
Hmm.
kind of fun.
Uh, what I noticed in the commercial of the video, I noticed that the trailing arm turned in faster than the other one
Well,
understeered.
it kind of well, so one of the things that we didn't do to the cars, which we probably should have, is actually change stuff like shock oils and stuff like that because they don't they're not when they build cars for their videos, they don't drive them, I don't think, near as hard as we do. So
Okay.
they're a lot on flatter tracks. And so the oil in the shocks was a little light than what I would have used if I built it. So you saw in the double A arm suspension car, you saw the front end dive really hard. It leaned a lot, just, you know, too thin of oil.
That's
But the
what
one
my.
with
No, go ahead. Sorry.
the one with the trailing arm suspension was very stiff. The shocks are more straight up and down. So it was much stiffer and had very little dive when you went into a corner, but then that caused the car to be a little tippy. I think one section of the video there, they got the two cars coming into a corner, and I slowed the video down because the car gets up on two wheels as it turns the corner. Well, that's the trailing arm suspension car, not the suspension isn't diving. It's rigid, it's stiff, so it's rolling over onto the side of the tires. And that wasn't common when we drove it, but that just happened to be through that corner. It's just one of
Oh,
the traits of the trailer arm suspension.
we got a question from the audience. Who they want to know if it has hex drive screws
It does, yes.
and full ball bearings.
And full ball bearings. It's
I
basically the same hardware and bearing set as the BBX.
How about the battery box?
Oh,
How does
there's
it
the hex.
hold? What's the
Okay,
biggest?
so there's two screws. If you're looking at this here toward the back of it, you see, yep, right there. There's a screw there and a screw on the other side. And you pop those two screws out, the bottom falls out, and then the battery box is enormous. It's not only much wider than a standard hard case battery, but it's taller too. So we never tried anything like this, but you could probably put a low profile 3S pack in this if you wanted to. But this does have an option which the parts didn't come with it. So we'll see when our sample unbuilt kits come in. But you may be able to use the same kind of pin that the BBX does. Where you put that pin through and you put a body clip through. There's holes in the chassis right where the Nerf bar is attached there, where looks like you can slide like the old SRB chassis that had that little like white pin that slides through and it holds the battery door closed. This has that same thing. It slides through and you can put a body clip in there. And again, I don't know if it's coming with that option, but it has holes in both the battery door and the chassis for it. So I won't know until our production cars come in, that to whether or not it comes with that option.
I know people prefer like the idea that it has a full perimeter frame on it because people like that, especially people who run crawlers like having that stuff on their cars.
Now,
Frick,
one thing you mentioned, real quick is that the one with the trailing arm here, you said it was stiffer, right?
The front suspension is stiffer, yes.
Yeah. So when you take a corner and all that, it handles differently, which I would have thought it would have been the reverse. I would have thought this one would have been softer, but after you mentioned that the shocks are straighter here, that kind of makes sense. But another thing also for here is that what you got to remember is that the width of the car is way different. So this is the one with the trailing arms is narrower, right?
Right.
So therefore the wheels are more in than the rear. So that's another reason why it might be a little bit more tippy.
Yeah, I just think and again, I think maybe working with the shock oils, you could probably help it a little bit more. But again, they just kind of sent their kit shock oil, which is great if you're building a car to, have some fun with, but those of us that like to tune the car probably wouldn't use that stuff. I think a little tweaking in both the shocks will make this thing wonderful.
I believe that it would be nice if they offered different silicon fluid for the shocks to be offered in two different ways you want it. With two different.
They might. I don't know what that's going to come with, but the more they add, the more it costs on the retail end. So.
And you also made a whole new figures.
Correct. So the driver figures are all new. We requested new driver figures because the ones that are current are pretty old. They're female figures. The names are Smokestack Sabrina and Petrol Page. So most, I'm not sure if you guys know this, I'm sure you probably do, but maybe people don't, but all of the figures that Tamiya makes, they have a backstory. They have, I don't know if you can find it or not. I'll have to look and see. Maybe post some information.
There they are.
Post some information. So these two are sisters. We just wrote the backstory like just before this video, so I'm not entirely sure what the backstory is. I'll have to try and get that and see if I can't post that somewhere. But they are females, they are sisters, and you can build it with a right-hand drive or left-hand drive configuration, depending on how you place the figures.
Nice.
Cool.
So I'll be able to put square packs in the belly of the vehicle. So because for what I see in the picture, it doesn't look that deep, but it is.
It looks deep.
It's actually quite deep, yeah. And again, another thing they wanted to add, but I'm not sure if it's coming, is if you look on this picture here and you look kind of into the deeper area there, right there, you kind of got the little the screw hole that's been kind of tapered. So they were talking about putting in a separate piece that plugs in here that will hold a T-plug so that you're not fumbling with the plugs. The T-plug will be automatically attached to the chassis. So when you put your battery in, you just plug it in, put the battery in. When you want to pull it out, you take the battery out and just pull it. There's no fumbling with that extra T-plug from the speed control.
Yeah, Kyosho has done that with the Outlaw Rampage.
Right. And so that was kind of what they're talking about doing. We didn't get that in the built-ups or the spare parts bag. So I'm not entirely sure if that's coming with this or not. And again, on this picture here, you can see at the very back of the battery box, there's a hole just on the inside. There's a hole that goes all the way through. And that's where they're going to put the battery door pin, so you don't have to use the screws to lock it in place.
Right there. Yeah, right there.
Yep.
You could actually see it here. You see the two pins here. You see the pin
Yep.
here.
Oh yeah,
Right
there it
there,
is.
and then it goes all
That,
the way
that,
through. Yeah.
So it may
that
be
kind
an
of reminds.
optional part. Yeah, it may be an aluminum part that they do optional. Again, we don't know for sure what their plans are with this. So
Because
It kind
by
of
putting the pins there, it means you don't have to use the screws. Screws
right,
there are
there's
for
just a body clip
safety.
on one side. Pull it out, pull the pin out, and the door opens up. I think
well,
that's
Yeah.
probably much better because you know I don't want
the
to be
pins
carrying
Easier,
remind
screws over.
quicker.
Yeah, it should
the,
be. Of course, if you drop the body clip, it's not.
the pins remind me of the ORV.
Yeah, right, exactly.
I like the fact that this is deeper, like that if
Mhm.
I want to use my racing batteries that actually have the post, because
Mhm.
some of them have the 3 millimeter or 4 millimeter post, you can turn your battery upside down and actually have the wire in here instead. And
Yeah, exactly.
to me, this is nice. The way you guys have designed the
Yeah,
battery compartment is cool.
I,
That was one thing
I,
we asked is please design it for current batteries. Tamiya usually, because Tamiya doesn't use LiPo batteries, they use
Yeah.
Life-E batteries. A lot of all the cars are designed around those packs, not LiPos. So for them to be able to make this kind of adjustment and make it for LiPos and make it is I mean, to me, that's an enormous battery box that I've ever seen in a Tamiya car, aside from a flat carbon chassis area.
you would say this is 90% new compared to the BBX.
Correct. The only things that are a carryover are the rear suspension, the steering, some steering parts. Uh, I think most of the shocks, other than the bladder, and some front end parts.
Yeah, the displacement of the new shocks with the new bladder is supposed to be increased handling, from what I'm understanding.
Yes.
And you also could have the front suspension system of the BBX in there if you want. So you could have either or, but I do think most
Is
people are going to use the trailing arm.
is this A arm here from the BBX or is it all new? The A
It's
arm
from the
inside.
BBX. Yeah, it's from the
Okay.
BBX.
So this part is from the BBX and the trailing arms here are from the BBX. And the transmission.
Yeah,
Correct. The
and don't
transmission.
forget
Yeah,
there's boots. There's also boots on the axles now too, which is
that
new.
will fit on the BBX as well.
Oh,
Okay.
those will fit on the BBX too, even though they didn't come with them originally.
Right.
Well, the boots add more realism to the vehicle.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. I mean, you know, yeah, I'm gonna get an extra set and put them on my BBX.
Well, it should keep the car cleaner.
That's basically what it's for. Yeah.
Well, on the website, I'm kind of glad that you guys have done that on the website, on the Tamiya USA website. You've actually put some features on there, but you've actually put here compatible hop-ups option parts for it,
Yeah.
which is kind of cool because you actually get the BB1. You're actually saying that the TA07 aluminum steering arms set is going to fit on there. So there's a lot of cross comparison of other. Here's the TD4 you can put in there. I saw also ball diff, TD4 ball diff set. Now there's a ball diff in there right now, is there?
I
Yes,
don't know what it came with. It came assembled, so we're not sure what they put in there.
Okay,
I
okay.
heard there was a ball diff. Fred said it was a ball diff, I thought.
It could be. I didn't hear him say that, but it could very well
But
be.
yeah, I didn't hear him say that either. I watched a video this afternoon.
Somebody
But
said
it,
ball
it is
diff.
available. So it is available, which means you can actually put the ball diff in there.
Yeah.
Uh,
And again, the light option, the LED options, which is kind of cool. You got 8 buckets in there, counting the rear. So 6 pointing
Right.
forward and 2 in the rear.
And that was the other thing that we suggested too, is that the BBX you can put lights on, but there's no place for the light controller.
Yeah.
So I originally put a shorty battery in mine and put the light controller on the chassis. But I didn't like the way the wires were and all that kind of stuff. So I actually took out the little shelf that the speed controller sits on and 3D
Yeah.
printed what looked like a red fuel cell and then put the fuel cell back in that place and put the light box in there, the light control in here. But that was one thing we asked about this, is that this doesn't have any, the BBX didn't have room for that. So they made this chassis, which has a ton of room in it. Like, I mean, you see what's in there right now, and there's still plenty of space for something else.
Mm-hmm.
What I do see some people with this frame, the frame of it, the outside frame. I could see people, aftermarkets companies making it full metal frames for it, since it's pretty elaborate.
Yeah, you probably could. I don't know exactly how it attaches to the chassis, but I'm pretty sure that if you're designing a chassis for it, you can design mount points for it too.
Now, the bug body that goes on there, is that a
Nope.
whole new bug body, or is
Brand
that
new
some,
bug body.
it's a brand new one?
Yep,
And
new
it's a
tooling.
little bit bigger than the other bug bodies, right?
I haven't sized it up to one. I can do that before Thursday show, and then I'll
Yeah.
have a better idea. Maybe I'll see if I can bring home like I think we got a sand scorcher in the office too. Maybe I can bring that home too. We can kind of set them side by side, kind of
And the
get a
Blitzer
comparison.
Beetle.
I'm not sure if we have a Blitzer Beetle in the office or not.
Oh,
But I hope it's a little bit bigger, because I know a lot of crawler guys loves to use that beetle body,
Sure.
but it needs to be just a little bit bigger for a crawler. But I know a
Yeah.
lot of people have done
Yeah.
crawling beetles.
10th scale crawlers are really 9th scales. Josh told me the other day.
Mm.
So I hope with this trend, with this new buggy, that it's. I still don't want Tamiya to stop making their old stuff, because that's a foothold that they have, and people love that stuff.
That was a huge concern with this, was whether or not it would steal sales away from the BBX. But we basically said that it's more going to complement it, I think, because the BBX is quite different. It isn't, if the BBX just had the Volkswagen body put on top, sure, I think there'd be argument for saying it's going to steal sales from the BBX. But because it's a completely 95% new vehicle, I think they're just going to complement each other. And we actually have we've been kicking around some interesting ideas on how we can tie the two together. Maybe by, I don't know, January, February, we'll probably, if this is the route we're going to go, we're going to announce something that's be kind of fun for everybody. But I don't think we're a fun car company. They're never going to stop the sand scorcher. They're never going to stop,
The old stuff.
all the old stuff. Yeah.
I've told Brad before, I am not a buggy guy, and I do not own a lot of buggies. I do own some, but new ones, no. Just to let you know, my son we went to Ultimate RC Adventure that last weekend, and my son was driving this RC10. I know it's not a Tamiya, but it's an RC10 B3. So this is a B3, and I put it back to life. It's got a very old Tekin ESC on there that does not have reverse. This is vintage. This is 100% vintage, and he drove this for the second time now in a row at the Ultimate RC Adventure, and he came first place again this year. So 2 years in a row, he won first place with this buggy. And
back in the day, those buggies I raced that buggy when I was kind of in my racing prime.
I had one.
Raced that buggy,
I
and
raced it too.
they're great.
oh yeah, they handle great. You should see there was some BBXs there. There was some new old buggies, and this one was doing circles around them. It was crazy. I don't know if it's because my son was driving it or what, but it just handled and jumped so much better.
Sure.
But I know that the Tamiya are not meant for racing. I know there's some that did race before, they had their own class and things like that, but it's a different beast altogether. I know that.
Their TRF stuff was to go out to deal with the world's best cars, the TRF stuff. And they should go back to making some TRF buggies. Some people would like to see the 201 come back.
Yeah, but is there market?
Right. That's just it.
Probably.
The racing scene is 5% of RC. Like, is
Mhm.
it really worth? And those cars, I mean, obviously you've seen the price of the new like 4-wheel drive touring car. It's $1,000.
Yeah.
Is it worth it? I mean, they don't sell very many a year, and it's a fantastic car, um, but it doesn't really sell very well because there's a few cheaper options.
That
And you know, we don't have a race team to kind of support it, so it's not really in there. They can make these instead and sell
Yeah.
1,000 times as much as the
The
TRF
TRFs.
cars.
well,
Yeah.
the two-wheel drive buggy would be a lot cheaper than the touring car, anyways. The TRF buggy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but still, Brad, who's the market? Who's the market for Tamiya? It has to make market sense. I've told you that before. Sometimes you say, I wish they would make that. And I ask you, are you going to buy one? You said no, because you can't afford it. Well,
And the scope of the cars now is
yeah,
way outside what that the
Well,
TRF 201 is.
I,
They're
I,
all mid motor. They're designed to race on sugared carpet track. Like, it's not off road anymore.
no.
So
But
they still,
TTO2s and TTO1s, they've been around for a long time. And Scale Builders Kit at the event had another event for this. He made a rally race, so a quick little rally race, and he put some incentive in there for people to actually build a rally. I have lots of TTO1 and TTO2 to here. They're all over here. And I did not have a rally car. So I went out and I bought this rally car just for this event. And again, my son drove it and he came first place
that's
with
great.
that rally car, and it's stock, stock suspension, stock friction shocks, stock motor. I do have a TEN-80 in there because there was no ESC that came with it,
Sure.
but it 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 performed very good, and he had other cars there. There were mainly all Tamayas, which is cool. Some people showed up with some Kyosho's. They weren't allowed to race with us, but they did do a race right after. So it
I,
was a fun event.
I say about bringing back the old TRF buggies because a lot of what's picking up in the world of racing is vintage racing.
Mhm.
So there is a market for it.
But
So
most of the vintage classes are time stamped outside of where the 201 was released. So
yeah,
Mm.
I'm aware of that, but
yeah,
I do think Associate's going to come out with a B3 again.
Yeah,
That's
but
totally inevitable.
it all depends on how serious the racers are.
right,
Because like at the event of Ultimate RC Adventure, they do this vintage buggy race. That's why I brought this vintage one. But you have people there with BBX. And I'm there last year when I was there, and I see people would be, I'm there. It's not a vintage. Like, this is brand new. What are you doing racing that? Oh, and then the people administrating this is saying, "Oh, this is for fun. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. This is for fun."
right,
And I'm there thinking to myself, "You're calling this a vintage race, but you're accepting any buggies." So I just said, "Okay, the hell with it. Just okay, let's just have fun." That's why I let my son drive, which is more agile than me, and his reflex are much
sure,
faster. But it was fun. Seeing the BBX and seeing the different style, different classes of all the buggies, it was cool.
yeah.
And
Rob, I do think the TRF 201 did win a couple of times the year it raced, and it beat those cars out.
Well, I mean, it was basically a B4 copy. So um, it had what it took to win. It just needed a driver to do it.
mm,
And if you put a good driver with any car, chances are they're going to have a good chance to win. So
I know that Tamiya has won some of those races that
yeah,
were legitimate, and the TRF 201 was one of them.
yeah,
and that's why I got the hot shot last year because I was supposed to build it this year for my son to actually drive this in 4x4 class because they have a vintage 4x4 class. I did not have time, but I told my son I am going to try to build it this year for next year so he can actually drive this in the 4x4 class.
Oh, the
So
when
it'd be
super
when
hot shot.
where is that race located?
It's here in Canada. It's in
Okay.
Ontario, and it's during the Ultimate RC Adventure put up by GCM Racing, a Canadian manufacturer here for trail trucks.
Okay.
So it's a fun event. It is about crawling and about scale trucks. They had a gallery of decked out scale truck. It's amazing the talent that some people have to make scale items for these truck. It's just mind blowing. It was cool.
I
3D
don't have
printer.
that kind of patience. Yeah.
Oh, it's interesting.
It's 3D printing.
No,
Yeah.
no, no, not a lot of it. A lot of it is not 3D printing. A lot of it is just finding those little tiny details and the cloth that they use and the pull-out drawers. Everything is made with styrene, 90% of it. And it's just amazing what they come up with. It's
Uh,
crazy.
so I heard, I don't know how true it is, but Tamiya Australia has a good guy involved. He goes all over Indochina or Southern China, and he says the Falcon's coming back this year.
The Falcon? I'm not sure I know that one.
You don't know, or you can't say.
Well, if it's something that hasn't been announced, then even if I knew, we do have a list of cars that they're talking about releasing, but I couldn't tell you. Like,
I know a lot of
couldn't
people
tell you
been
what's on
asking.
the list or what they've actually decided they're going to come out with. It's up to them to decide to discuss to release that information, not us. So
Well, he says this guy's pretty accurate. He's got a good source inside somewhere. I don't know what, but he says
Well, if that guy keeps telling secret, Tamiya won't tell him any more secret if he keeps blabbering them out.
it was a guy that he knows that told him.
Well, anyways. And I
yeah.
did get myself a BT-01 just because it was on sale. So I got the Porsche. I did not have a Porsche and I did not have a BT-01. Kind of interesting with the BT-01, you can actually have it front motor, front wheel drive, or rear wheel drive. This will be a rear wheel drive, just like the Porsche was. So I'm going to build this like a Porsche would be because I'm a scale guy. I like
Yeah.
having it properly the way it's supposed to be.
Tony, tell him what he needs to actually get the slop out of the front of the BT-01.
By a TTO1.
Buy a TT-01.
It's
Yeah, no,
that car is not really designed for anything but play. And there is something that I came when I'm doing a video on it, kind of going through the video on it right now. Is I tried racing that. We have a local rally group here, and I originally had my BT-01. Is rear wheel drive, front engine. It was the Supra body set,
yeah.
and I ran it. And it kind of did this weird crab walking thing, and it it's it has to be built very precisely because of the amount of slop. If it's not, it tends to crab walk. It tends to drift one direction or the other. It's not. I think there could have been some other ways to do it to make it a little bit better driving vehicle because it's not that great. I switched to front wheel drive, front motor front wheel drive, and it was better. But then during the rally event, it still kind of wandered around a little bit and it kind of crab walked and it was kind of a handful. But I went into the parts bin and pulled some parts out and slapped them on, and within 5 minutes, the thing was so fun to drive. It was so good.
So got better.
Yeah, it got so much better. So I've got a video coming out on that. Probably I would say that probably by mid next month because I'm having to do like a couple testing without the parts, with the parts, some other minor upgrades to make the car actually much better.
So, Frank, if you wanted to drive more properly, you're going to have to buy some hop-ups. I'm sorry.
It actually requires like two things, which is surprising, but it completely changes the way the car handles, and that's front wheel drive, front motor, front wheel drive. I don't know. I'm pretty sure it would work the same as front motor, any of the rear wheel drive configurations. but unfortunately, out of the box, it's kind of a handful.
Yeah, so I know that they had these metal pieces that in those things in the front, and they had the metal pieces that came from the TT-02 or the TT-01 that fit in there, and that actually helped stop some of the slop. And there's some other things. I think you can get some alloy parts that would help it too.
There's a range of things you can get to make it work. It's just how much, but it only like slightly minimizes the slop. So it all depends on how much you really want to put into it.
Yeah.
You could probably get all, I mean, I put a lot of shims in there and it took away quite a bit of the slop, but it's a fine tuning process that does take a while to make sure that everything is, make sure you get it equal. You don't want the arms to be offset. You don't want the arms to be like offset a little bit. You want everything to be shimmed correctly, front to back, side to side, all of the turnbuckles and everything. It's just a lot of extra work. Or you could just leave it the way it is and drive it.
Yeah, and that's what I told Brad a long time ago. I don't care about the slop. I care about owning a BT-01 and having one on the shelf and sometime driving it. If it has some slops, I don't give a hoot. Yes, I'll try probably shimming it or try to fix it a little bit, but I'm not meant to race this thing.
Right.
I don't want to put it in a competition. I just want to have fun with it. And if it has slop, that's what I told a lot of people. That's why I own so many RCs, is because I don't do hop ups. I build them the way they were meant to be built, and I drive them as is, and I enjoy them as is. Yes,
Do you have
this
like
one
do
I
you have electronic
modified.
do you have electronics in all those?
Yeah,
Do you
yeah.
ever like reuse electronics? Or you just get new ones.
No.
it,
Every single car is running, and
Wow.
either with stock ESCs or an ESC I've run. I own over 100 now, but everything is running. I can take a remote off the shelf here. My Anram remote of shelves, and yes, every car actually drives.
I,
Wow.
I did see a BT-01 go against some touring cars, and someone had it really tuned very good. It was keeping up with them.
I think it's possible.
Probably.
It does take a, a bit of work, but the initial tests of my new suspension on the car was actually, and this was just rally when I was playing with it. I wasn't even really trying to make it work. Um, Typically on the track that we run in rally, I could do like a 1 minute 30 seconds was a good fast lap in my XV01, and this car was 1 minute 35 seconds. So it was only 5 seconds slower in a rear wheel drive car that, I mean, in a front wheel drive car that is like a sloppy mess, and it only went 5 seconds slower. So I think it's got some potential with some of the stuff I'm doing. It's just whether or not, you know,
Uh,
Now, for some
so
people, just real quick, Brad, for some people that don't know Tony, he works at Tamiya USA, but he also has a page called Competition X. Does a lot of RC reviews, does a lot of tips, tricks, and things like that. So if anybody wants to go visit him, I just pasted the link of his page on the chat. Go check him out. He's got a lot of information there. He also has RC manual page, so you can actually get some manuals there. And RC Academy, if you're new, they can help you. He can help you out and talk to you about a bunch of stuff.
hey,
What else can you tell me about your page, real quick, Tony?
So I was with another host for like 21 years, and I just moved the site here last week. So I still need to redo all the manual pages. I have 6,000 manuals, 6,400 manuals with the radios and ESCs and everything. So it's just reloading all those, which
Okay.
is going to take some time. So that part's down right now. But the tuning guide, the tuning base. So I just added a couple new sections to this. The suspension tuning is typically the most visited page on my site. You can go and learn everything about all the different tuning aspects, when to change them. I just added the one for radio functions and ESC functions. So if you don't know what a certain function in your radio does, a certain function in your ESC, there's two new pages up at the top in that same link up there where you can go and learn all about that kind of stuff. And that's initially when I first started this page, it was to just help people learn about RC. When I raced with some of the fastest guys in the nation, Kinwald, Francis, Pavitas, those guys, and they were sometimes a little difficult to approach because they were, at the track that we raced at was like a nationals every night. It was the best of the best racing every single night. So they were kind of more focused on winning a race or making their car work the best than they were about kind of helping people. So when I saw that, I thought, well, I've got good knowledge. I can share that. So that's what I did, was actually share the knowledge of that. But over the past 20 years, the site has become like this monster that kind of had these offshoots of this and this and this and this. And it's really difficult to keep up with. It became just such a nightmare to manage. So I backed it down. I went back to what the site was supposed to be, and that's just helping people learn about RC, learn how to tune your car, learn how to drive your car, that type of thing. So it's only been up for like a week and a half now. So the manuals part is really the part I'm working on right now, just getting all those loaded back in.
I'll briefly go back to the BB-02. Fred said that you could fit an 8,200 milliamp LiPo pack in it. That's a pretty big pack.
Yes.
And that, I'm feeling that this car is going to probably sell well. And I'm hoping they keep up with some new 9th scale cars later in their lineup.
Well, when we look at the cars now, we look at the BBX, when we look at this one, there's extra holes, there's extra mounting positions that don't really go for the car. So we're with the thought that at some point they're going to maybe make a second version of the BBX with a different body. I'm not saying it's happening because we don't really know until they tell us it's happening. So I think, and with how popular the 01 and 02 are, we could see other versions of vehicles on this platform for sure.
That'd be nice.
Also, I have a 50th anniversary Porsche.
Okay.
I wish they'd do some more. I hope they keep that one going too with that whole setup. I'm hoping they put that with another vehicle on it.
So I'm going to guess that, well, the car that you buy, there's nothing really spectacular about the car you buy right now. The 50th anniversary, you just get that little plaque. I got the little plaque mounted here. But I built my car and drove my car because I was very interested in finding out how that chassis worked. And it was pretty good. Like, I'm surprised how well it worked. So we've ordered a bunch of spare parts for it. I can't imagine being a 50th anniversary. A lot of people probably aren't going to drive them. So ordering all these spare parts makes me think that there will be a non-50th anniversary edition of this coming out at some point, because we've got so many spare parts to replace if somebody breaks something.
It handles well. It seems to handle well, and if I plan on putting a 4,000 kV motor in that when I get to it, because it'll take it.
Okay, well, I'll just make sure that we'll look for your name in the parts department when your order comes in.
What?
We'll look for your name in the orders when your parts order comes in to replace everything you broke.
Well, the BBX I've seen take 7,700s.
Yeah, different vehicle, but okay.
But yes, that special anniversary one with the suspension, all that, it's very interesting. I wish I could afford to get one. And this is what I believe you just said, is they're going to re-release a non-special edition one that's going to be more affordable for people like me. I'm saying that I can't afford it, and I have well over 100 cars. I buy them on special. I buy them used sometime. A lot of my stuff is used. And I don't do hop-ups. I believe in spending $100 or $200 on a new kit more than $200 on hop-ups. Sure. This is the reason I have lots of cars.
Well, you've also said that you limit the times you do hop-ups. If it actually does something that
if it really breaks more than once or twice, yes, I will replace the part with a much better part. But that's basically more on the crawlers than anything else. because I believe that plastic should bend. And if you
Right,
replace
right,
plastic with metal, you're just going to create another weaker point somewhere else where it shouldn't be.
right. Which is probably a weaker point because it's supposed to the initial part is supposed to bend and break in the first place.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
I I have a 3600 and a 3800 kV in my super hot shot, and it takes it just fine. It's very fast with it.
Yeah.
Runs beautifully with it. I use the smallest pinion on it, and it's still very fast. I also have the Terra Scorcher with a 3600 in it,
Hmm.
and it works just fine.
I'm building this
Oh, that's cool.
hot rod from our buddy, and I'm putting a brushed in there. A lot of people, even Brad says, why don't you just put a brushless in there? Why? This is a don't scratch, don't flip, don't jump, and it's going to be fast enough with a brushed motor. Like,
Sure.
I don't need a
And it's
brushless
kind of a
system in this thing.
it's kind of a vintagey car, so why not use
Yeah.
kind of a vintagey motor?
So
Yeah, well, I have a Blackfoot, and I put the 16 tooth pinion in it. And it was really fast, but the motor was getting hot because it was dealing with the bigger tires. But it was
Yeah.
running very, very fast. But I didn't flip it the first time I used it, and it jumped well. The frog chassis handles better than people think it does, especially with the new front end and with the oil filled dampers up front on the. I assume help with the Blackfoot because they're oil filled. Yeah. And so I went back to the 10 tooth. I haven't tried it yet with the 10 tooth, and I'm hoping. And I was using a super the one above the turret, the regular can, but with the one that's above the torque tune. That one, the sport tune. I used the sport tune in it. It was still very fast with it.
Yeah, that's a pretty fast motor.
I'm glad that on your page you actually put the link of the A-main, so where it's actually selling. So this is probably going to be the suggested retail on the car, because on the Tamiya page it's always a little higher. 488 is the MSRP, but this is more of what the people can actually wait and pay for it, which is
more of the street price. Yeah.
Yeah.
The A-main is 30% cheaper than what they originally showed it for. Frank, 30% difference.
So this is going to be nice. And I believe at this price, by the time it hits Canadian, it should be affordable for me to get. It's going to be a little tougher because by the time it gets here, it's going to be closer to $500 for me. But that has nothing to do with Tamiya or anything. It's just the Canadian dollar versus the US right now.
Sure.
But it's better price than the 50th anniversary one, which is almost $800 for me to get. So no way am I going to get that. But this one is on my list.
And really, that's a lot of people pumping the price up because it's 50th anniversary.
Yes.
Because when we initially saw what the price is going to be, like, oh, that's not bad. We can do that. So everybody in the office had a chance to purchase one of those. We get a good on special edition vehicles like that. We get a really good deal on them. And so everybody bought one because it is, 50th anniversary. You get the little plaque, and surprisingly inexpensive to what I thought it was going to be. But I mean, I see people now selling those things for a ton of money. So
it's more comfortable. The price is more comfortable. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah.
But what I see with the BB-02, I'm hoping that they can have a lock differential that Tamiya sells for it, because just like the SRP, it's a locked rear. Some people might want that in this.
Well, I'm sure
and
you
Tamiya
can
maybe should make
putty
an
or something
optional
in it to
part
lock
for
it up.
that.
I'm sorry?
Maybe they should make an optional part to lock the diff.
They probably won't. If you want to lock it, you can put putty in it, and that way you can always remove the putty if you want it back to an open differential.
Those tires are popular too, that came off the BBX.
Yeah,
Well, at least the
those
rear
tires work
ones are.
actually
People
really
love the
well.
rear ones. That they're decent, get decent traction. The rear ones.
Yeah.
So you guys are recommending a brushless motor, highly recommended for this buggy.
Um, yeah, it'll take. It doesn't come with one of our speed controls. Doesn't come with a Mabuchi motor.
Yeah.
And we've run. I mean, in my BBX, I've run down to a 10 turn. The one that the two cars we were running here were both, I think 10 turns in both of these bugs, and they were plenty fast. Um, enough. I mean, it was I think it's a little bit too much motor for the car with those tires. Certain thing at the baseball field, it was hooked up so good. At the track, it was a little looser. I think because the track's got a little bit of marbles on it, it wasn't really. It was kind of slick, but with a bunch of marbles on there, so you had to be a little more careful with how you drove the car. Um,
They don't
but I
do
think
bad in sand.
a little less motor would probably make it like 13 turn, probably perfect.
I think the tires are not that bad in the sand either.
No, actually worked really well in the sand. Yeah.
No, the BBX, like I said, it's not for me because I'm not a buggy guy, but let me tell you that bug to me is way nicer than what this is.
So
Yeah, when we saw the first renditions of the bug, we pretty much knew it was going to be. There are some people that don't like it, think it looks toyish, whatever. And I mean, you can't please
Yeah.
everybody, but for the most part, everybody in the office, like, yes, we want to. Um,
I
and about 75 to 80% of all the comments so far are really, really positive on this car, so that's good.
you can get the slipper clutch too that comes that you can get for the BBX. It'll fit it too, right?
Yep.
Can you run it without the cover?
Sure. The
roll bar?
Yeah, it's got it. I mean, so I think one of the pictures that you had there was it without the
Yeah, like
body.
Yeah,
And
right
yeah,
there.
it's four body clips. You can just run it just like that. You could probably even make, if you want to do some kind of aluminum panels that just kind of did your own thing, you could do that too.
Yeah, maybe Tamiya should make some different panels to put on it, make it more of a panel vehicle. Maybe you can find a way to do that.
Probably not going to do that.
no, it's financially it make no sense. But for somebody else custom to actually do some 3D panels for it or to make
Sure.
something for it, yeah, 100%.
No, do you think they'll make some TRF shocks for it with the bladder?
So some of the, well, I don't know for sure. The big bore shocks will fit on this. I don't know if the bladder will fit in those shocks, but I know that you can use the big bore shocks. Same shocks that'll work on the BBX will work on the BB-02, the Dune Beetle Cross
Now,
too.
the BBX, these are metal shocks,
They are aluminum, yes.
plastic,
The shock
aluminum,
bodies.
but these ones are plastic.
Correct.
Okay.
But they have a new
I like
bladder system in it.
I
So
Yeah,
like
it's got a new bladder, so I think maybe they were going to just do the first release with plastic and then come out with some aluminum ones later.
Let me tell you, bladder shocks are way easier to deal with and calibrate than non-bladder shocks. I've had so
Yep.
many people, and I'm gonna do a video on this one day soon, explaining why a bladder shock is better than a non-bladder. Because you have air in there, and you got to make sure your oil level is exactly the same on one shock than the other. Because if it's not, you take the two shocks and you're going to have two different experience on the two shocks. That's on the
Right.
non-bladder, but a bladder one, it's almost foolproof.
It'll always be the same. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
yes,
always going to be the same.
Frank,
Talking
they have a
about
picture.
bladder, I'll be back in a second.
They have a picture. They have a picture of the bladder, the new bladder in the shop.
In the video, yes.
Yeah.
It reminds me of it has a line that goes through it that's indented and a thing that's lower. The little piece is lower and then it's higher at the top and wider at the top. The
It's
new
supposed
bladder.
to not collapse as easily. Most of the shocks have the bladder goes in this way, and that
Yeah.
center part kind of collapses easy. So you can get the piston going up and actually hitting the bladder and popping the bladder loose, because if you're coming off a big jump or something like that, this is kind of more of a flat bottom, and then it has kind of the side, you can kind of see, it almost looks like a plug. It comes up and then it kind of curls in and then up, and that provides a much stiffer initial kind of hit, which is supposed to make them actually more consistent.
It kind of reminds you of a plunger. You think about it. The plunger has a small center
Yeah,
ring and
kind
it's
of,
wider
sure.
at the top.
Yeah. So
So-
I think it's a good idea, especially for people that are not that used to shocks. And I've seen these shocks with bladder on the Traxxas, on the crawlers, not as much, but I wish they did. But depending on the company you get, that's what, to me, it's an easier shock to deal with and to
Well,
tune.
I think it's much easier for a beginner to just fill it up with oil, push the bladder in, the oil comes out,
Yeah.
put the lid on, you're done.
Yes.
Whereas I can maybe see, I mean, back in the day when I was racing, I mean, back when you were probably racing as well, there were no bladders. They were
Yeah.
all the air shocks, and you had to, before they even had bleeder caps, you had to just make sure the oil's in there, bring the plunger up, make sure that it doesn't bottom out, make sure that it doesn't get stuck halfway up, and matching the shocks is more of a performance thing that somebody that wants performance is going to do. Somebody that's building a car for the first time isn't going to know a darn thing about
Yeah.
what's going on with the shocks, how to tune them, how to fix them. So in any kind of RTR or kit like this, bladder shocks just make sense.
Yeah, it
They're
does.
more consistent and cheaper to make.
Um,
Yeah, and you got less people bitching about them.
that's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
Is, I mean, cheaper or not, most companies just want to have the best performing thing, and so they put the air shocks in there. But you got to be careful that the people that are buying it aren't having a hard time and complaining about it, because they're the ones that are going to be the most vocal about the problems they're having.
The CVAs, even plastic CVAs, people aren't that upset with them. They're consistent. They don't leak like people think they would leak, but they, you know what I mean? I've never, I don't remember ever having a leaky shock from Tamiya, ever.
No.
Yeah, I've run those. I've run this a lot. The stock shocks a lot in rally course, and even in some of the on-road stuff we do, like Euro trucks and stuff like that, when you can run an upgrade plastic shock. I don't think I've ever had a problem with a shock leaking or going bad with, that is just from building it. Hitting something, tweaking the shock shaft, that's all stuff that causes leakage.
No.
But just standard building the shocks, I don't think I've ever, I mean, I think that goes with pretty much any shock, not just Tamiya ones, but any bladder shock is like the way to go for sure.
I could see these shocks being bought, these new bladder shocks. I could see these being bought and putting on other Tamiya cars.
Yeah, perhaps.
Maybe. If the length is
You're going to
good,
make them
yes.
available to replace, or just get the bladders. Get the bladders to fit the CVAs.
Yeah, the bladders might fit standard ones.
Now, these, it doesn't show in this video, but you probably still have the O-rings on the bottom. Like usually there's double O-rings on the bottom.
Yes.
And you probably have these on there also.
I would think so, because all the CVAs are made with two O-rings at the bottom.
Yeah. I mean, that wouldn't change with the top bladder. So
Yeah.
So are they going to put 40 weight oil in this kit? Or,
I don't know what
because they
oil is
usually put
coming
that,
in.
that's a usually ubiquitous oil.
yeah, it's going to be, excuse me, it's most likely going to be the gold oil, which I think is 40 weight.
Because when I made my wild one, the oil weight was different for the front. It was, I think it was lighter. I think it was a 30 weight, was red, and the other one was green.
Mm.
I got a bunch of grease here from Tamiya.
Oh, yeah.
This black one.
I could
but
see these
yeah,
new shocks. I could see these new shocks being put on other cars later.
Yeah, if the length is correct, yeah.
If the length and size is correct, because Brad, you can't remember, that shock does look big. Like he mentioned, the big bores should fit on that buggy. So the shock is big. So yes, I see that maybe in other buggies or other cars if it fits the scale and the length that people need. Now, you don't know the length of those shocks right now?
I don't know.
Okay. And that's going to be interesting to actually find out, yes. But
Oh,
there's
one of
so
them
many
looks like it's
shock manufacturers out there, like crazy.
the new shock looks like it's a 90 or 95 millimeter.
Maybe. Don't know.
So I I know going back to the 50th, I would like to see someone actually race it against the touring cars.
I would have to probably wait. Well,
Just to see what it'll do.
inherently, rear-wheel drive cars don't do well against anything else. Even in the M chassis, where you can run front-wheel drive against rear-wheel drive, rear-wheel drive will have an advantage, but the track has to be like pristine in a certain condition for those rear-wheel drive cars to be faster. If it's not right in that exact window for those cars, front-wheel drive will beat it all day long.
I also love the realism of the rear end on it for the car of that year.
Yeah, it's kind of cool how the motor's way out back too, and the weird
Yeah,
like
just like an
double
actual
shaft
Porsche.
things going everywhere. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
And it has two pinions, and people don't, two pinions and two spurs, which is
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah, because if you're going to change the gear ratio, you got to change it twice.
Yeah. Now, Tony, you must have built the CC-02.
I did.
Don't you think when I built that thing, I thought it was the most over-engineered RC for strength, the way the chassis is, how you're clipping and how your sandwiches, everything. And I'm there, what the heck is going on with it? It's a cool build. It's a very solid truck, but I thought it was, to me, over-engineered.
When I did the review on that, that was probably my biggest complaint was how over-engineered it was, sliding nuts into this and in between this and sandwiching this and trying to put like you need four hands to hold everything together. Um, the final build was fun. I still run mine today. Whenever I go to a crawling event, I bring that truck with me just because it works great. But I don't ever want to take it apart because it's just so there's so much going on.
I wish they would never have dropped the CC-01. They should have kept that going.
Well, at times there's time for upgrades, time to move on. I'm sure eventually sometime the TT-01 will go away and there'll be a TT-03. It's just a matter of time as to when. CC-01 had its life. CC-02 is just a much better vehicle, even though I do race a CC-01. I do race one in a rally class as a Dakar kind of rally class. And it's fun. It works great. But for crawling, for competitive crawling, the CC-02 is just better.
Yeah, but the CC-01 had a different type of life. It could do some trail running, which was fine. Sure. And you know, maybe they'll bring it back eventually. I had one of the first CC-01s when it came out in the 90s. I had the Amigo Mu X with the big tires and rims. So it was a lowrider one.
Yeah.
And it had the hard body on it. You know, they should probably bring that one back. People will probably buy that because they like the hard bodies. It was also mainly a street car, even though I could accidentally run on the grass and it'll go through it with those tires. But and you could lock the diff on it because
I think
in real life you could lock the diff on one of those. What?
In a way, I think you're right, but in a market, I don't think you're right. You're living in a memory. You enjoyed what it gave you and you'd like to see it again. But market, or to make money for the Tamiya company, does it make sense for them to bring it back since it's a leaser product than what's on the market right now with
Right.
other crawlers? Does it make sense market wise? I don't think it does.
Well,
I don't.
for rallying,
I don't. Yeah, rally's not very big though. I don't really. When they do their market research to what they want to re-release, we will sometimes get a list of cars and kind of have our input about what we think should come back. For instance, the Group C cars, fun cars, kind of a weird chassis. Everybody in the office got one when the Mercedes C11 came out. Took them down the track, ran them. They were super fun. Everybody bought one because they just looked so good. We had a kind of a spec motor class, foam tires, wonderful car to drive. They discontinued it a month later, and then now they're re-releasing. They re-released the Nissan and the Porsche, but then discontinued them right away again. So I don't
they had the
know
Mazda
if,
too.
well, we won't get the Mazda. It was Mazda. It was only Japan only.
Oh, that's too bad.
We won't know. We don't really know what their kind of goal is. If they just want to do a re-release to see if it sells out, and if it sells out, okay, put this on the back burner for later down the line. Or we don't. I understand, like, because there are some cars that I think, I mean, I see every day. Porsche 959, 12 scale Porsche 959, the M chassis one. You can make 100,000 of those, they'd sell the next day. That is one of the most requested car re-release, yet here we are still waiting for it to come out. So again, I don't really know what the process is. That's the Tamiya way. They're going to do what they want to do.
You know what's also like I asked you about the Falcon. That's also one of the most requested. And also the Nissan one, the Nissan hardbody one. That truck is also people been wanting and requested, as well as the Blazing Blazer.
Yeah, but I think that they may not have ever come out with that one because they may not have the tooling for that.
They can always they have one at their facility. They can always recreate it. They can always go over the parts.
Tooling is incredibly expensive. They to be able to retool everything would be a big amount of money, and they got to make sure they can get that back.
Yeah.
Well, they're already expensive as it is.
Blazing Blazer would probably be a good candidate to get that money back, but it's a chance. They're willing to take that chance.
A lot of collectors don't like when you come out with re-release because it hurts. It hurts them. So it's a good thing and not a good thing for collectors.
Right. I mean, look at the RC10 craze.
Yeah.
All those people that had eight chassis original kits. There's 50 different versions of that car now.
I'm the type of person who likes what I'm one of the few who like what our Associate is doing, because I would have liked some of those cars, and if eventually I come up with some money, maybe I'll buy one of those cars.
It's amazing what Team Associated has done in the past 4 or 5 years with all their kits: gold pan, clear pan, blue pan, 24th scale of that
28
gold, 28 scale of that gold pan, all kind of thing. It's all marketing. It's all going after those older guys, older racers, to relive what they had, which comes back to what you said earlier, Brad. I used to have one and I loved it. And they're going after that market, but man, are they ever expensive.
Yeah.
But they're selling it. But
I do believe the B3 is going to come back. I do believe they're going to bring back all the RC10 numbered ones, because they're already at 7.1. So I could see them coming back out with the 4, the 5, the 6 eventually. But maybe. I think the 3 is definitely going to be within the next 2 years.
Hey, GD Mode, how you doing? Models? GD Models,
Hank,
how you doing? Yes?
Did you beat the barn with a TTO2?
Yes.
No. Not a TTO2. It
Oh,
was a
okay.
CCO2. I beat the barn at the creek.
CCO2. Okay.
So there's a place called Beat the Barn at Beat the Creek. They got a barn, and you got
Oh
to.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
I know that.
I took the CCO2 in there, and I did it all with the CCO2.
I have another idea that Tamiya should they should make a CRO2 also, but the CRO1 can actually make a very good monster truck. I've seen it done. Been
Wait a minute, the
modified to be a monster truck.
CRO1, or is that the one with a stupid springs? That is the
Cantilever suspension.
stupidest car truck I've ever seen.
Tell us how
Let's
you really
see it.
feel.
Let's see it.
Ah,
But they could make a good monster truck out of it. That would be a good thing to do to see what they could do with that.
no.
It'd make a good monster truck. I've seen it made into a monster truck.
Yeah, but no. To me, no.
Yeah, but no.
Yeah.
They could make a CRO2, a new chassis altogether. The whole point of a CRO2 would be different, completely different vehicle.
Come on. I'm looking for that CR01, Keith.
Okay.
But,
Okay. It's Duckman.
oh, sorry, Duck Man.
These guys get my name all mixed up all the time.
I mean, it's right there on the screen, right for them to see it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's KBRC.
I think, you know what, the WTO1s, people would like to see some of those come back, like the Wild Dagger and stuff.
Website is being very slow right now.
Being slow. Yeah.
I did Google CR01, but it's thinking.
That's not it.
Oh,
They can
wow.
make that
That's
into
No,
an
no,
RC.
I know it's not it, Brad.
They should make that an RC.
I
So if
like
you
your
go-
paints.
Control,
Your paints are really good.
trucks.
If you go up there, it's 58429.
Uh,
Oh, you ate one too?
58429.
Yep. I'll bring up the Jeep version.
Oh, the Bronco.
Hit discontinued on the left there.
Yeah, they
Oh,
discontinued a long time ago the Jeep version of it.
Come on.
You know what? The CCO1 had a great drive shaft. That would be hard. That's hard to break. And the high lift ones, they had very good drive shafts.
Your paint is real good. Like the Tamiya paint. Wow, look at that
Yeah.
thing. It's jacked up.
Yeah.
Like the shocks are on an angle here. You got the stupid looking springs.
It's barrel spring. They're barrel
This
spring.
is, to me, if somebody gave me one, yes, I would take one, but I don't even think I would pay for one of these. Look at that.
No, but you would definitely
into the
try
raffle.
driving it. You drive it to see what it's like.
No. Sang came with one here, and I didn't even want to drive it, Brad, on my course.
Yeah.
This thing was so bad on my trails. No, I don't want. No. I hope they don't come back out with that, because to me, it's no.
Instead of CRO2, make a brand new chassis.
Yeah, but what
Oh,
could
the
they
shock
do
is
to
in the
it?
back. The shock's
Oh,
in the
I
back.
said to
Yeah.
make that one into a monster truck because they need to have more monster trucks.
I don't know what they were thinking when they did this.
Yeah, I don't know either. It's
It must have been
actually
done in the 80s, huh?
it's actually more kind of crazy when you have one in front of you. We have one in the shop, and I keep looking at it every now and then. It's bizarre.
At least it had
When
a
was
C
it done
channel
in the
metal frame,
80s?
Frank. At least it had a C channel metal frame.
Yeah. Sure, Brad. No.
Hank,
To me,
when was that released? In the 80s?
No, 80, no, 2000s.
Ah,
Really? Wow. Sorry, Tamaya. Like it's, but no,
I don't think you have to worry.
no. Good. Thank you. So,
yeah, I'm
Brad,
going
if
to
you
be
want one, you're
painting
gonna have to
this
find a used one.
with a
What's that?
Tamiya paint.
No, I say they should make a CRO1 because to advance the platform so it doesn't look like that anymore, and maybe it'll be better.
Yeah, but you can't call it a CRO2 if it doesn't look the same or whatever. It has to
It'll
has
probably just
some,
be a whole new platform.
yeah, yeah. Can they make a crawler that is looks scale? Yes, but can they make it that they can make money out of it? That's a different question.
Well, they
Some
probably wouldn't go into that because it's already massively
Yeah.
saturated
I,
segment. That was why
I
the CCO2 was kind of like an update from the CCO1, but didn't dive heavily into like a total performance vehicle. It was more just to fit our bodies, look cool, accept the
Mhm.
current electronics and wheel tire selections that are out there, and just be a good. I mean, I think it's a smaller scale than might be 11th scale or something like that. I don't even think it's the same size as a normal crawler.
uh, I could some people are kicking around. Maybe they're going to come out with a Clodbuster Evo. Why not? Look how much they
Well,
improved the lunchbox.
yeah, the Clodbuster is kind of cool. I got a Clodbuster. I purchased one, my first one, a few years back, and I did not do any upgrade to the steering because I know it sucks, but it is cool in its own way. And I'm
Right.
not going to bother putting the upgrade servo on axle and all that because I'm not going to compete with it. So I'm just going to enjoy it the way it was actually built and with its strength and weakness. That's how it's going to stay.
I went down that rabbit hole building one for racing, and um, it's a lot of work, and it's still a clodbuster.
Yeah.
But I mean, look how much better they made the lunchbox with its new setup. It jumps really well. It really is just as good, if not better. Uh, it handles better. It corners better.
True, it's better, but who's going to buy that? And when you're well, I'm comparing it right now to an Arma. A kid that's going to come out and buy an Arma and bash with it, or a lunchbox and bash with it. Which one is going to be more robust? Is the Arma. You're going to be able to do a heck of a lot more for the same price than the Tamiya. Yes, the Tamiya is going to look more scale. So it's a different market kind of thing, but that's why a lot of people are going with Traxxas or Arma because you can jump at 20 feet in the air and land it and then still going. But a Tamiya, good luck.
Yeah,
Mind you, the best RC I've ever taken to the skate park and never broke, touch wood, is the TT01 and TT02. I brought
really.
some Traxxas Slash and all kind of different cars to the skate park, jumped them and all that. The only one that came back from the skate park not broken were the TT01 and TT02.
Well, we have a friend who hit a curb at 80 miles an hour. And he was using foam tires on TTO2. The car didn't break,
Mm.
but it chunked some tire. That's what, so that vehicle was more durable than people ever gave it credit for.
Yeah. Well, it's
Crashing at
just like
80 miles an hour and still being in one piece.
I tell people all the time the story about the skate park and the TT01, but the TT01 and TT02 won't jump as high as an Arma or a Traxxas, but that's a weight issue. It's like I tell people, throw a feather. How far can you throw a feather compared to a bolt? Like you'll
Yeah.
throw a bolt farther, they're both about the same size, but you can throw one farther. It's just momentum and weight. So it's and the size of motor also you put in there, but if a car is very light, it won't go far.
Yeah.
Speaking of motors, why did they drop the current motors for these new ones that you could adjust the timing on, and but they're slower than the ones they're replacing, which a lot of people are upset about.
What are you talking about? Repeat,
Huh?
say that again. Say that
The,
again.
the, the new brushed motors that they're coming out with or
Oh,
already have. Yeah, they're slower than the ones they're replacing.
Money, Brad.
I don't have one. I've never driven one, so I don't know. I don't have an answer for that. I don't think we've even seen any in the shop yet.
So
They put more emphasis in the box it comes in than the other ones, but some people already have some of those motors and they tested it against the ones that they're replacing them with, and they were slower, and I was upset with that.
which kit are those? The Mitsubishi motor or whatever they
But
call them?
not the Mabuchi motors. No, they're new adjustable end belts, brushed
We have a
motors.
we have a new line of brush motors coming out that are basically kind of re-re's of the original ones.
Okay.
Um, it could be, I mean, there's a whole bunch of different things. It could be the timing, it could be the brush compound, it could be the spring compound. I don't know. I've I'd have to have one side by side to kind of really
Yeah,
guesstimate, but um,
yeah, the new ones do have ball bearings in them, but the brushed one, the bushing ones are still faster, which is weird.
well, I mean, how long have they? So brushed motors require break-in. If you don't break them in, they're not going to be super fast. You can take a Mabuchi motor out of the box and put it in your car and it'll be okay. I can take a Mabuchi and break it in for like in water or however I break it in, put it in the car, and it's going to be ballistic in comparison of Mabuchi
I,
motors. So
there's
if you've got an old, like I'm looking at one here, lightly tuned motor that you've been running for a year, those brushes have broken in, the springs are probably already the tension is probably settled. It's gone through a bunch of heat cycles. Now I'm going to put in one of these. Chances are your motor is going to be faster because it's been broken in. If you break this in, then and it's still slower, then okay, there's probably an issue. But until you break motors in equally, a used motor, for the most part, is always going to be faster. Another thing too is these I think have better magnets in them, which is going to give them more torque but less RPM. The older motors had you run them enough, the rotor is going to lose, or the magnets are going to lose from heat cycles. The magnets are going to lose torque, so it's going to gain RPM, and the motors will be faster. Um, I mean,
uh,
it's
I
hard to
know
tell without actually really breaking them in equally.
I've seen there's this guy who has a whole bunch of brushed motors, and he puts it on those. That there's a dyno that's still made to do that today,
Yeah.
and I saw Mabuchi doing 17 and 19,000 RPM. I'm like, how the hell did it do that?
We
Because
have
they're
some
usually
because
14s or 15s.
we for TCS we will take Mabuchi motors out and dyno them, and we've seen some up in the like the 25, 26,000 RPM. They're
That's
just broken
amazing.
in a certain way, however they're doing it, using voodoo drops or whatever they're doing. Um, but again, that's a motor that is broken in and tuned properly, and you're getting 25,000 RPM out of it, but you pull it out of the box and it's got 16. Same thing applies for these new motors. If
It,
they're broken
I,
in, you can probably get quite a bit of RPM out of them over the same thing as the older ones.
is it a proper way to break in a brushed motor to take a double A battery and just hook it to its ends and and
Well,
run it that way and run down the battery completely?
back when we were racing, there was a specific way to break in motors. It would probably still work the same today, but a lot of guys water dip their motors.
Yeah.
They'll hit the motor at, I mean, your battery is 7.4 volts, but they'll hit the battery at like 12 volts just to burn it in really quick. and then it's like an instant kind of break in. Some guys will, like you said, let it sit there and run one direction for an hour, or another direction for an hour. I mean, everybody kind of has their own break-in procedure. Um, it's kind of hard to tell what works and what doesn't because I really haven't gone through all that.
I know that a double A will run low RPM on a brushed motor for 30 minutes. And then it dies.
Probably.
Well, I've seen Chris from GCM Racing, the way he burns a motor. He puts the leads directly on the 2S battery, and it just turns very fast, and he leaves it there for 30, 45 minutes, and then he takes it off and puts it in the truck. There's
Depending on
different
the
ways.
motors, yeah, depending on the motors, the brushes are usually very hard compound. That allows them to last forever. It does pull away a little bit of power, but allows them to last forever. Doing what you said will basically burn that brush because the brushes aren't like this when they're new. They're more
Curved.
think of how they are. They're more like this, so they don't have complete contact. So the more you burn them in, the more they wrap around like that, and that provides the most power possible. So burning them in for on a 2S for 45 minutes will probably do the trick. But you're heating up a motor and potentially burning out the magnetic field because that's the worst thing for a motor is heat.
Yeah.
So sure, your motor will be fast, and you're breaking in the brushes, but you're also weakening the magnets. So that's, unless he puts a fan on it, then that's a good way to cool it.
So a double A would probably be safer for the motor.
It'll be safer for the motor. I don't know if it would provide enough power to break the brushes in fast enough, but yeah, it would be safer for the motor for sure. I mean, you could do it again with the 2S LiPo. You could do it with that as well, as long as you had a fan on it, something to help keep.
Well, you could do it with a 1S also. A 1S is half the power, so.
Yeah. As long as you control the heat, it's fine.
Yeah. But a one double A, that's kind of low for power.
Yeah, does it even move? Like
Yeah, it does. It does. I did it on one of my new 550s.
I can see using a pack like this of 4 batteries to make it go.
Yeah.
I think those dynos you can break in. I think those dynos allow you to break in a motor too.
I don't even own a dyno.
There's a company that still makes them, but they're from Japan, so I don't want to pay
I don't
tariffs.
want a dyno.
You
I don't want to.
you are a dyno.
Yeah. There's a big joke around here. They think I'm a dinosaur, but I'm really a duck.
He's a duck, kind of with dinosaur and the human legs.
Yeah.
He's a bad experiment that gone wrong. He's an experiment that gone wrong. I don't.
Bad experiment's gone wrong.
He's got a brain size of a pea, or even like a pinhead, I think it is.
Yeah, it's a P.
It's a pea.
It's his alter ego. I call it his alter ego. So also, I would like to see Tamiya bring back some new buggies that will use rack and pinion steering.
Have we ever had one that's had that?
Yeah, the big wig.
Oh, you're going way back.
And when I've seen the big wigs run and race, they seem to have faster turn in the sense of how fast the wheels turn.
Yeah, but with today's servo, Brad, do you really need that?
Yeah, you spend $25, you get a servo that moves it like 0.06 and it's got like 10,000 ounces of torque. Like,
yeah, but even with the faster servos, it'll be faster, still the same.
You can only use so much speed before it becomes too much.
Yeah.
And there's less parts. I think there's less parts moving for it too. The rack and pinion. You only got that pinion and the rack, instead of having a couple of arms and a thing in the center that connects the arms, which is more parts.
I think one thing that people should realize when they set up their cars, especially a Tamiya or any cars, set your endpoints. If your radio enables you to do endpoints, set your endpoints. Don't rely on the servo saver. That's the worst thing. But a lot of people don't. They don't even bother setting the endpoints, and I think you should.
Yep. Yeah, some of the
Brad,
guys I
do you
rally
ever
race
set?
with, some of the guys I rally race with, I watch their cars. I'm like, let me help you with your car. So give their car a test drive. I'm like, it impresses me how they get that thing around the track because it is so bad. But just a little setting the endpoint, setting the speed control right, like just the smallest thing, turning the door rate down a little bit. It's all turning off the drag brake. That's a big one.
Yeah.
And just little fine, just the basics, and their cars become 100 times better.
That's why I like some of the new ESCs now. You have a control wire coming out of it, and that's how I do my crawlers now. Is on my radio link, I got the dial, the third channel dial, and I set that for my drag brake. So when I'm crawling, I can either turn it on full blast or turn it off or
Sure.
50%. So it's a dial.
You
So
have to
as
do
I'm
that.
crawling, it's just like pulling a handbrake. I can either have the handbrake on or off while I'm going down a hill. It's
I'm
kind of
gonna
cool.
have to do that in this one, Tony.
Oh, yeah. Well, it
You'll
all
have to
depends
show
of
me how
the
to do
ESC you're
that.
going to use on there. What
Oh,
ESCs you
the
put?
1080.
1080 won't do it.
It
Well,
won't
the
do it.
1080 V2 you can.
Yeah, I don't think it's a V2. I think it's just a regular 1080.
I thought you could. I thought the controller for the 1080, the old 1080, still. I mean, you could still set it up.
You can have drag brake, but you can't control it.
It's a
They
set.
didn't
I
have
think
any
there's 3 settings.
1060s
Yeah.
at the shop, so I had to get a 1080.
But some of the hobby wings, especially brushless and the 1080 V2, you need that other control wire that comes out of it to actually put it on your channel 3 or whatever you decide to be. And then you can dictate what that wire does. It's either real car mode, which is kind of cool in the sense that your throttle and your brake. But if you want to put it reverse, you got to hit a switch and then your throttle becomes your reverse. It's like a real car mode, they call it. But you don't have to put it in that mode. You can say that that third channel is for actually drag brake or any other settings you want to change. It's kind of cool when you go in the menu.
Yeah.
Another idea is I think if they make a Grasshopper Evo, they should make it a trailing arm rear suspension, a new one for it. You keep the front steering from the Hornet, the Evo on it, but make the rear end different. So keep making it different than the Hornet Evo. It should be
I
different.
think you need to
Something
give Brad a
physically
job.
different about the car besides its body. Hey, you know what I mean? I mean,
I'll give you the email to corporate. You can just send all your ideas to them.
Yes.
There you go.
Oh, goodness. No email to corporate. Yeah.
And Brad's head's just gonna blow up and Brad, you'll start receiving all kind of commission and royalty checks, and you're going to be famous at Tamiya now.
I've seen what people have done with the trailing arm suspension. They made their own out of 3D printing and changed did something with the gearbox and stuff like that. I mean,
Then he can buy another
some people
speaker.
in Tamiya still hadn't seen some of those videos saying that's a good idea.
Well, Poor Boys RC has been doing some amazing thing with his group with the racing that he's been doing with the challenge, the speed run. Some of these guys are just amazing what they come out with. It's crazy.
I don't think Tony's ever done one of those challenges.
Now I was supposed to do the one this year with him,
With the
but
frog?
I kind of got busy and just didn't get around to it. So I told him I've been talking to him for the past couple of weeks about it's a cool thing and all that. And I told him maybe next year we can get involved somehow, and Tamiya can get involved somehow. And I totally want to get involved and build a car next season. So just let us know what it is, and we'll do kind of like a corporate build car or something like that. Would be fun.
Ah, that's cool.
Yeah, that'd be cool to have a corporate build car. But also the MB-01. Now that also has the same slop as the BT. And
Yeah,
Basically the same thing, just smaller.
yeah.
Maybe-
Well, except for you could put the motor in a higher angle instead, which is the only thing different. You also built an MB-01, didn't you?
Yeah. Same issues as the BT.
KB's pretty the slowest one in the
Oh yeah.
challenge. He owns the
Every time we've
slowest
done a
race.
speed challenge, KB is the one that wins the slowest speed.
Yeah.
You actually have an award for that?
And
No,
a
but
sucker award. Yeah.
well, at least it's on the list.
Sucker
I
award.
was supposed to run my car also in this challenge this year, but I just got busy, so I just didn't have the time. So I didn't
Yeah.
run this year. Last year I did, but not this year.
You know how you have the CVDs for the Blackfoot? You could use those same ones for the Frog, correct?
I think so. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure you can. It's the same rear end.
Same rear end, but I'm surprised they didn't allow you. They should have came out with that with the CVDs like they did the Blackfoot.
Well, they
And
never
the
came out with
Monster
a
Beetle.
they never came out with the Blackfoot was a 2016 edition, so it had some 2016 upgrades. They never did a 2016 or newer Frog, so maybe if they
but
came out with a Frog 2016 or something, they might have.
yeah, the
Maybe next year, Brad. Maybe next year.
maybe next.
Make sure you add that to your email.
Or
I'm sure
carbon shafts, they could put on some of these cars.
I'm sure, Brad, you can find the email for corporate China
Japan.
in Japan,
Yeah.
and send them an email or what you wish to have. I'm
Well,
sure you can find that email somewhere.
what them having the VP of them came out to California. I mean, you guys could even say these things to them that you could like to see something done like this, because they're going in this Evo fashion. So I could see more cars becoming Evos.
He wants
They
to
already
keep his
have-
job.
Yeah, I'm going to say Brad said.
Yeah.
We already have a list of cars for the next, I don't know, maybe the rest of the year or maybe into next year. A list of cars that they're talking about doing. So if any of those are on there, then great. If they're not, they won't be taking any suggestions back because they've already got their list of what they were going to be re-releasing.
No, but I like that they've given you guys some credence to help them out.
Yeah. Well, hopefully, because they were very happy with everything that we did for this release. So hopefully, it opens doors for future stuff. I mean, obviously, we're not going to be able to do everything, but maybe more USA-based builds or releases.
But California is known for designing companies. So
yeah,
but
it all depends how it sells. So right off the bat, how many sales are they going to get out of it? If it does good, then China might say, "Hey, we might have something here. Let's ask them to help again." We'll see.
What is it? What's the price of it? Do you know?
$341.
$341.
Keith had some issues with one of your product. He jumped it in the air and it broke in half. So he has a little bit of an issue with the MXF1 or whatever it is.
Right.
The
it was the Volkswagen.
MF01X.
It was the Volkswagen.
That's the old one, right? The old four-wheel drive.
Yeah, it's the older one.
You guys still make it?
I don't know if we do or not.
They still make the M05 because they just came back out with that Mini Cooper body, the 94 Rally.
I barely even jumped it, and it broke right where the battery was across,
Yeah, I don't know if we still. Looks like we do sell it. This is discontinued. Yeah, I don't know if we sell that. I don't think we do because once we came out with the newest version,
You mean the
four-wheel drive
XM?
M chassis. Yeah, the XM. I don't think we sell the MF anymore.
I thought you guys still sold because I saw in the book that came out beginning of the year, the MF-01X was still in there.
That was the MF-01X or was the mini body?
It was just the MF-01X was still being sold.
What does Duckman have? The Porsche, right? Is that a TTO too? I think.
Yes, that's a TTO2.
Yeah.
I was surprised because I was hoping they would keep the permanency of all the hot shots because on the books they usually say limited edition. And I remember when they came out with the 2 and they had the 1 and the super hot shot, it never said limited production. They were going to continue to make them.
Yeah, it looks like we still make the MF-01X. We do the Fiat Abarth, the Rally, and then the Ford Escort
Mm.
And
Rally.
what's up with you guys coming out with the VW bus, but on front wheel drive?
Mm.
What's up with that?
Yeah, that's one of those things where that's not a USA decision, because we would do rear wheel drive. I think I don't have an answer for that. Come on now.
Yeah.
I'm not
I'm
in
just
Japan.
saying.
They did that with the Miata too.
Yeah, the Miata was front wheel drive chassis. Yeah, we're like, wait, what?
When I bought this kit, that's an MO5. I bought an MO6 kit just so I could swap the two
Sure.
chassis and actually make it. But I never did. So it's still a front wheel drive, but I am planning on swapping everything. But now I have to find a front wheel drive body to fit that front wheel drive chassis. So
I think during the time of the bus, this is really the only thing I can think of is that they have a list of bodies they want to make and they just put them on a car. It's fine, we'll
Yeah.
just make car. But now with like the BT01, it gives you the option to do front or rear, so you can buy whatever body you want and make a chassis that is. I think that was kind of the purpose of the BT01 is whatever body you want, you can make a real chassis style to the body itself type of thing.
I miss the FF chassis. They all came with ball diffs. They made a 4, but I can barely remember the 4 if they even made an FF04. But they should bring those back. Those were fun cars to play with.
the FF03,
The FF01,
I think
FF24, yes.
I
They're
think I
front wheel
had
drive.
03, yeah.
we had
Yeah,
one at our race, our local race for Parking Lot Wars, and that thing front wheel drive was so fast and handled so good. It
Yeah.
was racing versus the Kyosho and was doing pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they have a ball diff in that. All the FFs came with ball diffs.
Okay.
One thing's also I've seen the tires that you guys put on some of the TTO1s and maybe some of the TTO2s. They actually get pretty decent water traction. I'm being serious.
Tire?
Yeah, because the tread works just like an actual tread that's supposed to dissipate water.
What about drifters? Are you going to be coming out with any drifters or anything?
I haven't seen anything about it. We had was it the TD05 or the gold one? I think it was the TD05 maybe or something like that. And I had one of those. It was a great car, but drifting has pretty much gone away from 4-wheel drive and gone to 2-wheel drive.
Yes,
So
2-wheel drive.
anything that we've had in the past doesn't really match that. It would have to be a whole new design, a whole new car, and I don't know if that's because drifting. I don't know how popular drifting is. A lot of the stuff that they end up coming out with is popular in Japan.
Okay, yeah.
So I don't know the popularity of drifting in Japan. I think it's more of a US thing.
Yeah.
I don't know that they would ever. I mean, it would work out great for all their bodies because they still sell most of the bodies that were on their, 4-wheel drive drift cars. It would still work. So, but again,
what's interesting is actually Japan's the ones who created the drifting scene.
oh, were they?
Japan was the ones who started it. And some people have taken the TT01 and did some of their own modifications to make it a two-wheel drive drifter.
Yeah, and make the steering turn a heck of a lot more and all that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of creative guy that actually do mods for that. Is it smart for Tamiya to come out with a drifter and call it a drifter? I don't think so. I don't think that's their market, just like coming out with a crawler. I think they're doing good with the bodies. I can buy a three racing drifter, which is a very good drifter, and put a Tamiya body on it.
But I'm buy Bonnie on it. Yeah.
And it's going to
Yeah.
be cheaper than whatever. But if I'm a drifter and I buy it for drifting, I'm going to go buy a real drifter, not a Red Cat Racing drifter or a Traxxas drifter. I would rather buy a real drifter than buy something that I have to do hop ups on.
And I think too, a lot of that particular crowd probably, when you go and you see drifting, you're like, oh, this is cool. I want a drift car. And you're like, well, I've heard of Tamiya before. And that drift crowd kind of pushes you toward
The other cars.
the pro versions of
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
cars, right? Like the MSTs, or I don't know who else makes them, Oniseki or whatever that company is. And I think those guys will push you toward those cars because that's what they're driving and they look cool and they got all the bling on them. And, you know, you don't want a plastic fantastic. You want this $1,000 carbon fiber, aluminum, everything, titanium, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Maya does make carbon fiber chassis and aluminum chassis.
Not for drifters though.
No,
And they only
not
make
for
for-
drifting, but they do for touring.
Yeah, but we don't sell very many touring cars at all.
Even though they're still very capable against the other touring cars in the
Oh,
market.
they're absolutely capable. I'm still running a 419 that is super competitive. I can win races with it. It's just, I honestly don't think, I think if you know how to tune a car, I mean, your son drove a B3. That's not a very new car, but if you know how to tune it, you know how to drive it, you can win with an older car. You don't need the best of the best to do that. As long as it is capable of winning, then I think, I mean, what are we on now? The 421X?
421X.
Yeah, I'm running a 419. Like I'm 3 generations behind. So, but it's still a fantastic car. It still works really good. And
It's competitive.
yeah, it absolutely is. So I think that they make the cars because I think they have to keep the TRF line alive. And it's probably like real racing. You build a Formula One car, you build a DTM or whatever it is, you go racing, you learn about the cars, and that transfers down to the street cars. It's probably the same thing for them. They build a TR 421X and they go race it, and it's super awesome. And then what they've learned in that, they can transfer to the next BB-02 or whatever.
The 50th anniversary Porsche has TRF parts on it. Those shocks are
Yeah.
TRF.
Yeah, that's a really cool car.
I love it, but I have to go in order of what cars I have to build first because they've been sitting around longer than the others. That's going to be one of the last ones I build. Actually, the only ones after that, the one I'm building after that one is my Evo lunchbox. But it's actually a complex build, I think, the Porsche. It's not that simple.
It's just a lot of parts, and
Shims.
it's a I would say it's a TRF level vehicle. So there's kind of a little more complexity to it than a Lunchbox Evo.
But the whole rear end setup,
it's cool.
I was hoping they'd come out with
Just
the 959.
make sure before you build it, make sure you're positive that you want to go with the kit body. If you want to go like I took the kit body, I didn't want to wreck my kit body, so I went for one of our TT02 Porsches. It's longer wheelbase, and changing the wheelbase after you've already built the car is a nightmare. So make the decision up front if you want to keep the cool kit body, and if you don't want to wreck that, you want to drive it, and you don't want to wreck that body, and you want to make a longer body with a different Porsche on it, build it to that spec first. Don't go back because it's not fun.
A lot of people were upset that they didn't put the wider tires on the rear.
that was one of our concerns at the office as well. We said, we basically told them they missed the boat, that they didn't do that, and they agreed after we told them, they agreed, you're right, we probably should have done that.
Yeah.
They decided to make that an optional part
Yeah,
because that's what made the car look most realistic, because they do have a kit that they made several years ago that had the wider rear tires.
yeah.
I was happy and also disappointed with the 50th in the sense that it wasn't the 959.
Brad,
That
are
could
you
have-
saying that Brad, are you saying that my Porsche doesn't have wide tires in the back?
I don't think yours does.
Man, that sucks. I'm gonna have
Take
to
it back.
retire now.
That's the stance of an actual Porsche.
Send an email to customer service.
That
give you- I'll
brings
give
it to
you-
the most realistic setup.
I'll give you corporate's number or email too. You can email them.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate it. And I'll do that.
Frank, I know you like scale, but if you were ever to get an optional part for your for that, get the wide tires, because that's the true setup and look of the Porsche.
I might. I do have some VTA tires that we were using for vintage carpet racing. So I believe they're from Kyosho's. I can't remember. No, HPI, I think.
HPI, yeah, those are the
I
good
do have
ones.
some.
Yeah, if you got some of those are the good tires.
Yeah.
Because if you want to go for more realistic, you got to get the wide rear tires.
There's
Oh,
Duckman's
there's a-
tires.
There you go.
Stuck man.
Duckman's got the wide
See, those
tires.
are wide. He put the wider rear tires on it.
Yeah.
That's wide.
Yeah.
You made yours look like a 4x4 monster.
Yeah, the front ones are different too.
Yeah.
They didn't go in the mud with it though.
Oh no, not yet.
Oh.
You could do some gravel running with it. Keith, you could do some gravel running. Maybe
Yeah.
not mudding, but gravel running.
Brad's like, you got to do it box art. Like, okay.
Yeah, and he did. He
Because
did
it would be
box art.
green if it wasn't box art.
Tony does sometimes. He does box art, if I remember correctly. Sometimes he
Dusty
does.
now. I need Dennis's rag.
Tony, you can answer this question.
Sure.
How come KBRC 13 in Texas cannot find Tamiya paint remover?
I think, don't quote me because I'm not entirely sure, but I don't think that's allowed to be sold in the United States because of chemical issues. You can find
That's
it.
what I
You can
thought.
find it outside. You can find it outside of the United States, and if you can get it shipped here, you can get it. But we can't get it to pass, or they're not willing to pay for it to pass whatever the EPA or whatever it is.
You know
for
how
chemicals.
ridiculous, I believe you, but you know how ridiculous it is? I just had McDonald's. You know how many chemicals in McDonald's?
Well, that's why they don't sell. That's why you can't. That's why you guys can't get Tamiya paint in Canada
Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
'cause
I
of the
know, but
chemicals,
I
right?
bought Tamiya paint recently, at least acrylic. I still see. I still bought.
In the United States, we
last
can buy
year-
No, in the
Tamiya.
States
Yeah.
you can, but not
Yeah,
in
but
Canada.
in Canada, they can't.
You can't buy Tamiya paint in Canada anymore.
But I
That's
showed
funny.
Keith how great the Tamiya paint remover is. I even showed a video on how to do it and all that. And he goes, wow, I need
On
to
the
get that.
windows.
So he bought a can and he was scrubbing and scrubbing. He goes, this thing is shit. It doesn't work. And then I told him, show me the bottle. He showed me the bottle and it's Tamiya paint thinner that he got. Bottle looks the
Instead of
same,
paint remover.
but it's
Yeah.
just not what's written on the bottom.
the polycarbonate. The carbonate cleaning gussel takes paint off real good. The cleaner of the stuff.
Yeah, I've got a couple bottles of both here. Um,
I mean,
I don't
technically,
really paint my bodies because I'm too lazy.
That's
Um,
weird,
Maya-
Tank. I'm gonna have to send you paint, and you're gonna have to send me paint remover.
Okay. We're way past 11:33, so we're gonna start saying our goodbyes. Tony will be here, or hopefully will be here on Thursday night on RC Talk. showing the BB-02 in live. So we'll be able to get close-up shots. We'll be able to tell them to take the body off, show us some things in more detail. So we'll see you on Thursday night. And Tony, Keith, why don't you say your goodbyes? We'll keep Tony.
You guys later. Thanks. Nice meeting you, Tony. Keep your
nice to meet you.
hamster smiling and your mud truck muddy. I haven't
Oh,
said
that's
goodbye in
close.
a
That's
long
what
time. Yeah, I think.
Brad, why don't you say your goodbyes?
I appreciate you coming in, Tony. It's been a long time. I'd like to see you more often because even on a Friday when Josh does the stuff, you know,
Well,
I'd like to see you on a lot of videos.
well, maybe we can ask Tony to have a professional from Tamiya come in and talk about a certain subject, paint or other things, or just on Tamiya Tuesday. So
It'd be nice
cool.
to have you and Fred on at the same time.
I'll talk to him and see. I know he's got a lot of stuff in the afternoons. He does a lot of sim racing. So he comes in a lot comes in a lot and talks about how he had 4 hour sim race the night before and all that other kind of stuff. So I'll see though if he's up for it. If he's got some spare time, sure.
cool.
Oh,
Thank you.
When's your next video?
One thing, Tony, we have after hours, so when we get off
Yeah.
live, don't leave.
Okay.
Yeah,
If you don't
we
want
stay on a little bit and chat about whatever. Brad, did you say your goodbye, Brad?
And thanks for everybody who joined us tonight. I hope you guys like the new BB-02, and hopefully some of you will be buying it.
Thank you. Tony, why don't you say your goodbyes?
Yeah, thanks everybody for letting me come in here and bogart your time. It was fun to talk about the BB-02. It's a fun car, and I look forward to bringing it in on Thursday and showing everybody, answering any other questions people might have about the car.
Thank you very much. Thanks, guys. Thanks for coming in week after week on Tamiya Tuesday and also RC Talk. We'll see you Thursday night on RC Talk, 9:30 Eastern Time. Until then, go charge up some batteries. Go out there, break something. Because if you're not breaking anything, you're not having any fun. Right, Kate?